Manny caught him. Oscar hasn't landed anything significant here in the first round, so in the first minute he hasn't just thrown caution to the wind and made Manny feel his power yet. But Oscar can set up that left hand. A little bit of abrasion. 2 minutes gone. De La Hoya's not winning the first round at this point, in my opinion.
That looks a little roughed up around the nose area, too. Some good, sneaky shots getting through by Pacquiao.
Now Oscar opens up for the first time. Catches Pacquiao to the right temporal bone as Pacquiao is bent over. You know, part of the philosophy for smaller guys is sometimes to make yourself smaller like Whittaker used to do, and if Pacquiao can bend way down when Oscar comes in, as he showed that time, it can be a difficult angle for Oscar. Oscar's short with his punches in spite of the fact of his reach.
And there's Pacquiao darting back out of trouble and then into the...
Pacquiao now. You heard Freddie Roach say, as soon as you feel those ropes, get off there. And he gets off by hitting Oscar.
Well, Oscar De La Hoya looked tight in the opening round.
He looks tight right now, too. And Manny nails him with the right hand. You know, Oscar was a natural southpaw, so he's got considerable power with his left hand, but he hasn't been able to land it yet. Manny's landed the heavier blows and more blows.
Watch and see if Pacquiao then decides that's the time to charge.
A minute gone in the second round. So far, Manny Pacquiao looks like he's outboxing Oscar De La Hoya, to my way of thinking. Oscar missing with the jab, jab, jab. So that stiff left hand and jab ticketed for the head of Manny, and Manny bobbing, weaving, ducking, diving, ducking, is not being hit by the jab at all. Oscar's got to get a piece of him. If I'm him, I got to step up the inside, catching him in the chest. You got to get a piece of him.
Let's start there. Yeah, get inside. He wants the right hand lead against Pacquiao, but Pacquiao is really quick with his feet.
Oscar fighting a little on the flat-footed side, Manny right up on his toes.
Yeah, it's magic so far for Pacquiao, his ability to go in and out.
And in spite of the fact that Oscar had Angelo Dundee advising him, it was Angelo always used to say, hit and don't get hit, in and out, and that's exactly the way Manny Pacquiao is fighting right now. There's the uppercut. Straight left hand.
Well, he is sharpshooting here, and he's showing extraordinary patience. He lands his best shot, then he gets out.
I'm surprised that Oscar didn't force the fight a little bit more here in the early going. I really thought he'd try to test his power shots against this guy, but he can't catch up with him.
No, he cannot get inside and work that body and set up the rest of the fight.
Well, he can't hit him with the jab, seemingly. And without being able to touch him up with the jab, you're going to have a difficult time with the right hand. Of course, one big punch with the left hook can change the course of this fight in a minute. In a second, I should say. There was a left hook that got through that time, but it was with an outstretched hand of Oscar. There was no power behind it. So Pacquiao's movement is the difference in this fight, and it's extraordinary.
The good movement on the angles, and then delivered the payload after he's made Oscar De La Hoya miss. And you see some tentative qualities in these shots by Oscar De La Hoya. They're coming up a little short because of the speed of Pacquiao.
Pacquiao has landed some power upstairs to Oscar because he's swollen around the eyes and on the cheeks. And his jab, you know, really doesn't seem to have that kind of power. And as I say that, he finally is able to get the jab to the face of Manny Pacquiao. With just about a minute gone here in round 3. This has been the best minute of the fight for De La Hoya, but he really hasn't capitalized on it any. Pacquiao still working, trying to get in and out. Looking for his opportunity to attack.
And this is when Pacquiao is in front of De La Hoya, and he's trying now to cash in. The lead right hand is there for him. He's trying to go through the Pacquiao jab and get that right hand in, and he's starting to load up with it now.
Oscar loaded up a couple of shots, and both were taken on the back of the gloves of Manny Pacquiao.
No, but it shows where Oscar De La Hoya's fight plan is headed.
Straight left hand down the middle, snap the head back of Oscar. Oscar hasn't done enough to win the first 2 minutes of this round, although he's had a better round 3 than the first 2. How many rounds can you allow Pacquiao to put in the bank, though?
A 12-round fight if you allow 3. then you would have to win. Almost, you have to win 7 of the next 9.
Yeah.
That's how big a 3-0 lead is.
.45 seconds to go in the 3rd round.
And the harder shots have been De La Hoya's in this round. Pacquiao has landed more.
Manny with a good body shot on the left side of the rib cage of Oscar. Oscar's still very flat-footed. Pacquiao's down on his heels a little bit more, but he's picking his shots. Nice head movement, making a difficult target with that left hand for Oscar. Oscar, you're right, Dave, is tentative with the right hand. He's going to let that right hand fly down the middle.
Yeah, he shortened it up. He shortened it up, didn't trust it.
I mean, he can't be afraid of the power. Oscar with the right, Manny Pacquiao with his back to you. MGM Grand Garden Arena, the obvious hand speed of Pacquiao is just that. It's so obvious. The left hand down the middle. For the right-handed fighter, they say you throw the right hand down the middle of the southpaw. Conversely speaking, the southpaw does the same thing. Left-hand power shot down the middle, and he caught Oscar. Oscar's left jab is not accurate. He hasn't been able to plant the right hand.
And he's paid a price every time he stops. Pacquiao circles. Oscar De La Hoya stops, and that's when Pacquiao hits him. Hits him off the stop. And with Pacquiao moving like this, you see that it's been hard for De La Hoya to locate that lead right hand he wants.
And already different from the Stevie Forbes fight, where Stevie was fighting the fight of his life. He couldn't manage to win any rounds, or many rounds, if any, against Oscar. And Manny Pacquiao is certainly more than holding his own.
And just getting bolder as he sets up everything with good movement outside and then comes charging De La Hoya inside. And so far, it is a beautiful fight by Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, and Manny's seeing the right hand of Oscar, meaning that maybe Freddie's right too, that Oscar's not able to get it off with the, you know, the sharpness that he once could, because it seems like every time he throws the right hand, Manny's dipping and making, even when he lands, there's a right hand crisp in the jaw of De La Hoya.
And Pacquiao's getting bolder, coming toward De La Hoya and getting more into those shots.
See, Oscar's trying to step up into the jab, but look at how tentative it is there as he just puts it out. Right hand misses, and Manny just parries it up. All those jabs, about 5 or 6, and nothing landed. And that's just a little head movement of Manny, and now he comes in, unleashes an assault to the body, nothing powerful, but this is.
Yeah, in terms of power, Oscar De La Hoya has already been touched up more by Manny Pacquiao than he was against Floyd Mayweather for the whole fight.
Pacquiao is doing, and clearly doing more, in my opinion, than Mayweather did in the fight. Mayweather got the split decision. Pacquiao's
he hurt him there.
Caught him with the uppercut. Oscar's having a tough time right now with Manny Pacquiao.
It's a 4-to-1 ratio in power punches this round for Pacquiao, and this is a defining round in the fight.
Good body shot, a little bit south of the border. Tony Weeks right on top of him, says, keep him up, Manny.
Will have to just throw caution to the wind because the scorecards are pretty soon not going to be issued for him.
Oscar's left eye closing up with that jab and the left hand following it. And now here he tries to exchange with Manny. Nothing that he throws lands, and Manny touches him up. Oscar had his left hook that time blocked in the elbow by Pacquiao. So nothing really working for Oscar. Even when he opens up, Pacquiao is landing more shots.
And there's Pacquiao with 2 and then the left hand down the middle, and we're used to Oscar De La Hoya standing and taking his shot when the guy comes at him, cutting him off with the right hand, cutting him off with the left hook. But tonight, the speed of Pacquiao on the inside continually disrupts the momentum and the rhythm for Oscar De La Hoya.
And Freddie won't allow, Freddie Roach that is, won't allow Pacquiao to allow himself to get caught in up against the rope so Oscar can pin him down and unload 4 or 5 right hands on him.
Look at the patience here of Pacquiao. 3 nice shots, you load up again. 3 nice shots, you load up again. You don't lunge, you don't go for what's not there. The right hand lead for Oscar De La Hoya. We've seen it on a handful of occasions tonight, and that's all.
Is this the night that Oscar gets old?
So far, the answer would be yes.
Well, you know, people talk about the southpaw style of Manny Pacquiao, but he's known he's fighting a southpaw. He handled Floyd Mayweather with better ease than he's handling this guy.
He's been a split second behind, and then the quick feet of Pacquiao have put him at good angles where he can launch an attack. Probably the most surprising part of this fight is how Pacquiao has maintained his speed and still has good power at 147.
You know, he threw the right hand that time with kind of the thumb out and the palm up. That's not the way you throw a power shot with your right hand. Pacquiao continues to bounce around up on his toes, and he's been this way. You know, if his fight plan was to fight the first minute of the first round and then the second minute and then the third minute, he's done exactly that in every single round, which is what he said he had to do and what Freddie Roach said he had to do to beat De La Hoya.
And then the other thing that we talked about is that he had to do enough in the power department to make an impact, and he has. He has outfought Oscar De La Hoya in the power department by a ratio of about 3-1.
And then Freddie Roach also telling Pacquiao, don't lose concentration and allow this guy to sneak back into this fight. Oscar again tentative with the left hand, so what does Pacquiao do? He cracks him with the right hand. He's working on that left eye of Oscar De La Hoya and has it almost shut. Oscar not getting off right hands, and he looks like he's almost shell-shy right now, the way Manny's attacking him.
And this has been the fight since the beginning. Pacquiao's power bothering Oscar De La Hoya, and Pacquiao gets off first. You don't see De La Hoya on the ropes like this.
And it was the corner of Pacquiao, namely Freddie Roach, saying don't get caught in the corner. Now De La Hoya's caught in the corner. And look at this guy go. Minute 15 seconds ago, and De La Hoya's in trouble.
He can't get off these ropes here.
He should be sliding down the ropes or grabbing this guy. Nothing is working for Oscar. Manny's punishing him right now. Oscar's heels are heavy. He's heavy in the thighs. His legs aren't there. Manny continues to put the pressure on him. Pacquiao knows he's got him a little bit stunned. Oscar really slow with his jab now. The back up against the ropes, and Manny's on the assault. Tony Weeks having a good look at Oscar De La Hoya. Look at the legs ready to go of Oscar De La Hoya. Manny nailed him with the right hand. He's all over him right now. Oscar's hurt. Pacquiao pouring the pressure on. Finally, Oscar steps away. And that left eye is really closing up. This has been a great round for Pacquiao.
And there will be a big decision made in Oscar De La Hoya's corner, both about the eye and about his presence in this fight. He needs to step up.
Inside of 10 seconds to go in the 7th round.
If there's another round like this fight will be over.
Fight to beat Oscar De La Hoya the way he's doing it would be significant.
But Oscar, a guy that barely stopped at 135 on the way up here and then jumped 2 more. And he's making himself look as good at 147 as he's been anywhere.
Now, Oscar hasn't been able to get off. He hasn't been active because of the movement of Pacquiao. Pacquiao's been on his toes the entire fight, and Pacquiao's had more power than Oscar. I mean, it's been all Manny Pacquiao tonight.
We have never seen Oscar De La Hoya in as tentative a position throughout as he's been here, and he has to try and summon one last ounce of something because he needs it now, and Pacquiao still stands and slugs with him after getting hit.
Now remember that Oscar De La Hoya has been a great champion, and one big hand could change the course of this fight. But it's a stretch right now in the 8th round as he continues to get outboxed by Manny Pacquiao. Oscar needs to do something sensational, and he's got to do it with tremendous power if he's going to pull this fight out now. The great fighters can do it, and he certainly has been a great fighter throughout his career. Let's see if there's one more miraculous move in Oscar De La Hoya. As I say that, Pacquiao pours the pressure on him, and this might be the miraculous finish of the career of Oscar De La Hoya. Pacquiao really labeling him and blasting him with left hand, right hand. Oscar's got to get out of the corner. When he feels the ropes, he needs to do what Freddie told Manny, and then slide down the ropes and get out of there. This is no place to fight this guy.
He's spending more than half the round on the ropes now out of fatigue and out of being shell-shocked.
The chant goes up, Manny, Manny, as the crowd turns in favor of Pacquiao. The left eye of Oscar De La Hoya is practically shut, and now he's working on the right eye of De La Hoya. Nobody's been down. De La Hoya's been shaken on a couple of occasions, especially in the last round. For the first 2 minutes and some of this round, it's been Pacquiao outboxing him again, forcing De La Hoya back to the ropes. Feigning is everything that Freddie Roach has told him to do, he's executed.
And we've seen De La Hoya again on the ropes with the Sanctuary. No place to win a fight.
And look at that. Just as Freddie told him, he walked right back to the center of the ring. And now this is one thing that, again, the corner of Pacquiao, they don't want him to hot dog it. Finish this guy off if you can. Don't mess with this guy. And the power shots are right downstairs. And look at Pacquiao battle to the end of the 8th round.
If you keep taking punches, I'm stopping the fight. Okay?
Well, you heard Tony Weeks say if you keep on taking punches, I'm going to stop the fight. So I would say that you might be seeing the last round in the career of Oscar De La Hoya.
And these guys were not on the same level tonight. This is as fine a performance, wire to wire, as we've ever seen from Manny Pacquiao.
And the fight plan that Pacquiao had for De La Hoya, but De La Hoya looked tentative from the get-go.
He did, when he walked in the building.
Yeah, you said he didn't look comfortable at the weigh-in, walking in the building, in his dressing room, and certainly not in the ring.
And surprisingly, he didn't put on the extra weight to be a bigger fighter where he'd be more natural. He was actually the smaller fighter in here. And when he got into that ring tonight, it just